11th tribute.
Good morning, everybody, and welcome to Fire Headquarters as we memorialize and remember September 11th. Just shortly here, we'll start our ceremony. As you see, we've got firefighters, police officers, and medical personnel assembled by our flag. Once we get things rolling with the flag, we'll get into the actual ceremony itself. But thank you, everybody, for being here today. We appreciate that the weather has contributed to just a gorgeous day to remember what is a very solemn event. So thank you.
Attention all companies, today we lower our flag, past staff, and pause for a moment of silence to honor the memory of fallen firefighters and other first responders who made the ultimate sacrifice responding to the World Trade Center on September 11th of 2001. We recall their courage, compassion, and dedication to duty as they willingly advanced towards danger rather than retreat. We also honor the memory of our fallen brother and sister firefighters, police officers, emergency medical personnel, and the service men and women who have given their lives before and since that day protecting others. Today we recognize you and we thank you. Your legacy and the standard you established is our great inheritance. We will never forget.
Thank you for joining us this morning. At this time, it is my honor and privilege to introduce our mayor, Craig Greenberg.
Thank you very much, Chief. It's great to be with all of the men and women of Louisville Fire this morning, of LMPD, those from EMS, and to all the first responders around our community this morning and around our country. Thank you very much for your service. It's one of the great honors to be able to call all of these great responders that are first responders that are part of Louisville Metro government, my colleague as mayor. It is truly an honor to serve alongside each and every one of you. I've gotten to see you all in action so many times over the past several years, and every day I wake up and go to sleep impressed and grateful for the work that each of you all do. It's hard to believe that 9/11, a day that changed us as a nation, that changed us as people, was 24 years ago today. Like everyone else old enough, I clearly remember that day, where I was when I first heard the news, when I watched the towers fall. And this year, a few months ago, Rachel and I had the opportunity to be in New York, and we made our first visit to the 9/11 Memorial. And being at that memorial just brought it all back clearer than ever. Seeing stories about the heroic first responder, remembering things that we had forgotten, learning new things, hearing stories about the people who perished and the people who saved lives, seeing pictures from firefighters at Engine 207, where my grandfather once served many decades before 9/11. Those memories are etched in all of our minds. They're preserved in history at the 9/11 Museum. And we, on days like today and every day, we mourn the loss of the 343 firefighters who lost their lives that day. And we remember their legacy. And we thank those who wear the uniform every day since that day, today, and into the future, including those here in Louisville. Our first responders are the living legacy of those heroes who embody an amazing commitment to service. They run to the emergency when others are running away. And just like the first responders in New York on 9/11, our first responders here in Louisville show up to work every day, not knowing what they will be asked to do, but prepared to do whatever comes their way. They show up, they help, and for that, I know I speak on behalf of everyone in this entire city. We are grateful. We are thankful. Whether it's an apartment fire in Phoenix Hill, whether it's a business burning in Shively, whether it's a semi-truck hanging off of Interstate 65, whether it's a crime scene, whether it's an active shooting, whether it's a medical emergency, our first responders run into action, save people's lives, and inspire us every day. And that serves as another reminder, another piece of legacy of 9/11 that we should remember in times of crisis and tragedy, that the first response belongs to the first responders. And what comes next is on all of us. All of us have a role and responsibility to respond as well following moments of crisis. It's on us to provide support for survivors, for families of those who we've lost. It's on us to look for more ways to prevent and anticipate future crises and tragedies. It's on us to work together. And that's one of the reasons why it's important to come together on days like 9/11, to commemorate first responders for everything that they do and the commitment that they make to us. To remind all of us that we can and we must do more. And we're working on that every day here in Louisville. We often hear people say, never forget 9/11, and I think that's critically important. We should never forget. We should also never forget what happened right after 9/11. We came together as a country, unified in ways that I'm not sure we've been unified since. Let's remember the way that we came together as a country. And let's come together once again. Let's come together. Following 9/11, we came together to fight the horrible international violence and terrorism that hit our country. Let's come together now. Come together to end the violence that is plaguing our country still today. Political violence, street violence, shootings in schools, shootings at our banks, far too much gun violence that is plaguing our city here in Louisville, plaguing other cities, states, our entire country. Let us come together. Let us unite and find common solutions. Let us unite across our city. Let us unite across our country. Let's unite across the entire world as we strive for peace in all of our neighborhoods. May the memories of those lost on 9/11 be a blessing we will never forget. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. We had an academy class that graduated just 2 weeks ago, and I spoke at that day, and I mentioned empathy. Empathy as a quality that is absolutely necessary for a good firefighter. And I believe it's true for any first responder, police, EMS, firefighter. That was personified 24 years ago today on September 11th. The type of empathy required, that care for somebody else, to recognize the suffering in others and realize that you can do something to improve it and to run towards it. Think about the folks that were on that Flight 93. They had a choice. They could sit quietly, but they knew what was going on. The first two flights, they didn't know what was going on, but United 93, they did. And they made a choice to do something, saying, our lives are already forfeit, but we can do something to help and save others. That requires empathy, that requires love. All of the folks, whether at the Pentagon or in New York City, that saw those terrible catastrophes and ran towards it. It's not a paycheck that makes you run towards disaster like that. I promise you that. It is love. It is love for our society, who we are as a people. It is love for your fellow man. It is love for your profession. Love that drives people to sacrifice for others, to say there is somebody out there that is suffering. Maybe they're sick, maybe they're just scared, but I can go and do something about it. I can try to improve their situation. That requires love. How do we remember September 11th all these years later? How do we honor them? What do we do? Every good speech is supposed to have a call to action, right? So here it is. Remember those that we lost. All of the people that were taken from us that day, whether they were just going to work, getting on a plane, or rushing towards disaster to try to help others. Remember them. Remember those that died because of the 9/11 illnesses and disease. We've lost more firefighters to the 9/11 illnesses than we did on 9/11. Remember all of our military personnel that because of what happened that day, they went out to war and were taken from us. But that's not enough. Just like Mayor Greenberg just said, we've got to remember September 12th. We've got to remember the actions that we all took as a people, acts of kindness and love. Whether it was rushing out, I remember I was on Truck 8, and we all went as a company, Truck 8 and Engine 10, to go donate blood. Unfortunately, as it turned out, it wasn't needed out there, but it's always needed around here. Acts of kindness, acts of service to others, that's what we do every day. You remember them, you honor them by choosing kindness over anger, choosing compassion over hate, and choosing love every chance that you get. So to all of this community that we get the honor to serve, to all of my colleagues throughout police and EMS, and especially to all the members of the Louisville Fire Department that I'm so honored to serve along. I love each and every one of you. Thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, that concludes our ceremony today. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it. And again, go forth and choose love.